So today I'm going to be answering a very asked question. A lot of you guys asked me this: can Naruto use the Sage of Six Paths transformation? And let me basically tell you that there isn't a simple answer to this because there's evidence that leans on both sides when it comes to this debate. There's two answers to this. It depends on which form you mean exactly, and most probably yes, he has the potential to enter even the peak form that he entered back in the day. And you might hear back in the day more than once. That's referring to the events before the end of the Naruto manga. There is the potential for him to be able to do what he did against Madara. However, it gets complicated, because without the truth-seeking balls and the specific design they gave his Senjutsu Sage Mode prior to the end of the manga, there is a lot of discussion about whether or not he is indeed entering the Sage Mode, because it's almost identical to the Nine Tails Chakra Mode. But I'm going to tell you guys this right now: yes, he can indeed use Senjutsu / Sage of the Six Paths power. Yes, the power that Hagoromo gave him and Sasuke, he can use his half, his part. What isn't exactly clear is if he can use the heightened version, basically the version where he has access to all of the tail beast chakra and he has both yin and yang combining to allow him to form truth-seeking balls. It isn't clear whether or not he can do that. Some people say, well, he doesn't need to do that because he hasn't fought any strong enemies after the manga had ended. Other people say he lost it by the end of the manga. It isn't exactly clear because on top of the fact that they changed the character design of this transformation and it's hard to tell apart from the Nine Tails Chakra Mode, and we know this because the one consistent trait that appears between the Six Paths Sage Mode before the end of the manga and the times that we've seen it after the manga, whether that be in Boruto Naruto the movie or in Gaiden, is Naruto's eyes. His eyes are yellow. He has the same formation around his pupils. His eyes look very similar, right? There's those vertical fox slits with horizontal toad slats, and there's no pigmentation around his eyes. So that's what separates this from the standard Sage Mode. What isn't exactly clear is if he can use the heightened Sage Mode. Yes, with not only the truth-seeking balls, but access to all the tail beast chakra, which would basically allow him to do certain jutsus, like the ones that he performed against Madara, those amazing Rasen Shurikens, you know, the multi-bilateral Rasen Shurikens. We don't know if he could tap into that power. It isn't clear. There is no definitive answer about the exact form we saw before the end of the manga, what we can call the peak, right? Anybody who tells you there's a definitive answer is lying to you because there isn't, right? There's been multiple debates. There's like 50 forums open about this that basically spanned across like a couple of years as the manga was running. There is no conclusion just yet. I'm sure, though, as the Boruto series continues and Naruto's put in life-threatening situations, specifically against Kawaki, we will find out. Some people are even saying that the reason Naruto died, quote-unquote, is because he wasn't able to tap into the same level of power that he tapped into before the end of the manga, and that explains why he lost to Kawaki. Now, if you want my personal opinion on whether or not he will access the heightened Sage Mode, I gotta say, as the story progresses, it's more and more likely to happen. So I believe the potential is there, reason being because Naruto actually made contact with Toneri's orbs, his truth-seeking balls, and he was able to basically kick him out of the way. Those are hallmark traits of someone who can use Senjutsu, specifically the Sage abilities, because if you don't have the Sage abilities, if you don't have that yin and yang, you're going to get basically raped by the truth-seeking balls. That's a fact. So Naruto indeed has it inside of him. However, for him to actually have truth-seeking balls of his own, I believe that's going to have something to do with Naruto tapping into the power of all the tail beasts. So my opinion is, in the future, it's very, very likely to happen. The potential's there, but as time goes on, it's more and more likely that he will hit that peak that he hit before the end of the manga, because it was stated that Naruto is the meeting place for all of the tailed beasts. I'm pretty sure that has to do with the fact that Naruto and Kurama developed a bond that's probably the strongest out of all of the Jinchuriki tail beast relationships. And Naruto inspired everyone. He proved himself to every single one of the tail beasts that he's pretty much like a safe haven. So if Naruto's ever in trouble in the future, I could see him accessing that power, once again having access to the truth-seeking orbs, and maybe they'll even change up the character design, and we'll see it exactly like we saw it in the fight against Madara. The reason I think it changed is because he lost access to the Tailed Beast chakra, at the very least temporarily, and instead he acquired like both halves of Kurama chakra. So the form changed and it lost that separation from the Nine Tails chakra mode, which is why it's not the easiest to distinguish. Again, you could distinguish it based on the eyes, but from far away they look very, very similar. In a way, yes, Naruto is weaker after the end of the fight, after the end of the manga, than he was before the manga came to an end. So, I mean, that's going to spark a big giant debate between the Naruto versus Sasuke part of the community, because, you know, it's very, very debatable. Like, Naruto with the full extent of his powers is stronger than Sasuke, but listen, man, Sasuke retained exactly what he had at the end of the manga. So you could almost argue, well, Naruto's going down, Sasuke stayed the same, who's stronger now? And I'm trying my best not to take anything at face value, but Kawaki did say that he wanted to send Boruto to the same place that he sent Naruto to, implying that Naruto lost to Kawaki. Now, we always made the prediction, specifically me and a lot of other people actually made the predictions that, well, if Naruto went down and Boruto's fighting Kawaki, Sasuke's out of the picture too. That's very possible, or for some reason Sasuke's not able to access the Hidden Leaf Village and Naruto's in a worse situation. Maybe Kawaki and Sasuke didn't even fight, and it's going to be Sasuke that saves the day. That is a possibility, because remember, it was only specifically stated that Naruto was in deep shit. So maybe it is that Naruto got too rusty, man, and he didn't actually go heightened sage mode, which would be very tragic if he goes down without, you know, unleashing all hell. But again, it is most likely that both of them, Naruto and Sasuke, were affected. So let's leave the Naruto vs. Sasuke debate aside for this video. In fact, I don't think Kishimoto, Kodachi, Studio Period have the intention of changing the hegemony like that, right? Naruto's dominance in the series, Naruto's supremacy. I don't believe that's what they're trying to do. In fact, they've always sort of been stated as equals, but it would just be straight unfair if Naruto couldn't tap in to the full potential of his half, whereas Sasuke could. In fact, he could completely shut that eye down and then access its full power, preserving a lot of energy. So it would be unfair if Naruto didn't have his power whereas Sasuke did. Now that we touched up on my point of view about his usage of that transformation, keep in mind there's no definitive, clear, 100% answer just yet. I'm going to be addressing the other side of the coin, and that's, can Naruto use that heightened form for the shits and giggles? I would drop the F-bomb, but I'm gonna get censored if I do. You get the point. If Naruto just wants to use it at any time, maybe he's fighting Sakura, right? Sakura punched him in the face because Naruto made a move. He got tired of Hinata's pussy. He wants some Sakura pussy. Sasuke's gone. Maybe Sakura even for a second teases Naruto. Naruto ain't having it. He want to take her out, right? He wants to use the heightened form of the Sage Mode. Can he do it? Well, it's actually possible. It is possible for Naruto to leisurely use this form. If Kurama, for instance, calls upon it, I believe Kurama has his energy, his, chakra linked with all of the other tail beasts because they all come from the same place. So maybe he could call upon that, and Naruto could have access to all the beasts. Then he would have the truth-seeking orbs and be able to do those bilateral, trilateral combination attacks where, he utilizes different tail beasts to perform these awesome combos. And there is a legitimate argument to be made that he didn't need it against Toneri, that he didn't really need it with the help of Sasuke against Momoshiki, but nobody can deny the difference and the fact that, again, there are certain things that are just missing all of a sudden, right? This didn't just happen for no reason. I mean, keep in mind, before he could chase down Kaguya, he could take Chidori's, powder, he could even regenerate and restore organs. If you really want to be, completely clear about it, that's some, Jesus type of power. He's pretty much giving life in certain circumstances. And keep in mind, he could even levitate, right? So all of these things are suddenly missing, or at least a good portion of them. It could be that he got nerfed because he was too strong. I am not saying that's not a possibility, right? But I'm also saying that it's most likely because there would be no explanation behind, them taking all the power away from him. It's most likely some kind of link that's not connected. And what I mean by link, I mean a variable that isn't being discussed right now because there isn't a threat that, would warrant it being discussed. So what I mean by that is Naruto most likely drawing from all the tailed beast chakra. Something of that sort, a link that needs to be connected, a time and a place, right? That's what it most likely is. Because, do you guys not see Naruto doing what he did in the movie to, the next level, pulling out truth-seeking orbs, giving Boruto those experiences to where he's like, you know what, I kind of want that in the future?